Welcome to the Explainer. So, today we're cracking open a dossier on one of history's biggest mysteries. What if our ancient ancestors had technology that we've completely forgotten about? We're going to look at some artifacts and some incredible structures that just don't seem to fit the conventional story of human progress.
Okay, to kick things off, let's look at Exhibit A, this quote right here. It describes a discovery that is so out of place, so ridiculously advanced for its time, that it completely rewrites what we thought was possible in the ancient world.
Seriously, this thing is called the Antikythera Mechanism. And, to put it bluntly, it's a machine that it shouldn't exist, not in the 2nd century BC anyway. It honestly feels like a piece of technology that fell out of a time machine and landed in ancient Greece.
So get this, it was found in a shipwreck, right? A 2,000-year-old shipwreck, discovered way back in 1901. But this wasn't just some simple tool. It was an incredibly complex, hand-powered, clockwork machine built to map out the heavens. It was basically a mechanical model of the cosmos, a portable universe in a box that could predict eclipses and track the planets.
And the level of genius that went into this thing is just staggering. Using X-rays, we found more than 30 interlocking bronze gears inside. It's so sophisticated, it even modeled the moon's weird, irregular orbit using what are called differential gears. I mean, that's a level of complexity that just vanished and wasn't seen again in Europe until the massive cathedral clocks of the 14th century. That's a gap of over 1,000 years.
So this one single object, it forces us to ask a really big question. Was the Antikythera Mechanism some kind of a one-off miracle, the work of a lone genius way ahead of their time? Or is it the only thing that survived from a much, much wider technological tradition that's now completely lost?
All right, let's shift gears and look at our next case file. This is a mystery on a scale that is, well, truly monumental, and it's been baffling historians and engineers for centuries.
Okay, the Great Pyramid of Giza. We've all seen pictures of it, right? It's this absolute icon of human achievement, and we know who it was for, we know roughly when it was built, but the one single thing we're missing is any kind of record, any blueprint that explains how they actually built it.
And this is where the real puzzle starts. 2.5 tons. That was the average weight of just one of the more than 2 million stone blocks they used to build it. We're talking about the weight of a large SUV for an average block.
So, you have to ask, how? How did the ancient Egyptians, with what we assume were pretty basic copper tools and ropes, quarry, transport, and then lift these massive stones hundreds of feet into the air with a precision that we would struggle with even today?
And this is where things get really interesting. One of the best theories out there comes from a French architect named Jean-Pierre Houdin. He used 3D models to argue they built a huge ramp spiraling up inside the pyramid as they went. And get this, there's actual physical evidence that seems to back it up. We're talking microgravity scans, and even this weird little notch on the corner of the pyramid, they hint at hidden tunnels, right where his theory says they should be.
So all of this stuff, the ancient computer, the mystery of the pyramid's construction, it really pushes us toward two very different ways of looking at our own history.
On one side, you've got the mainstream view, and it's pretty straightforward. These amazing feats for the results of incredible human ingenuity, sure, but also a massive amount of labor, a ton of time, and some clever engineering techniques that we've probably just forgotten.
But then you have the other side, the one that looks at all these anomalies and asks, wait a minute, what if the story we're being told is missing a key chapter? What if there was some kind of advanced knowledge that, for whatever reason, just got lost along the way? Okay, but if an entire civilization's knowledge just vanished, how could that even happen on a global scale? Well, there's one theory about a dramatic event in Earth's past. And honestly, it's a terrifying one.
And this isn't some fringe idea, by the way. This is a serious scientific hypothesis. It basically suggests that around 12,850 years ago, something from space, maybe pieces of a comet, either hit the Earth or blew up in the atmosphere and plunged the entire planet back into a mini ice age, a violent global reset button. And when you look at the timeline, it is just stunning. The proposed impact seems to trigger this incredible domino effect. Boom, a sudden drastic drop in global temperatures. Boom, mass extinction of giant animals like the woolly mammoth. And boom, at the exact same time, the complete disappearance of the advanced Clovis people in North America. It's just this stunning cascade of catastrophe.
So the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, It raises this chilling possibility. A cataclysm of that size is more than enough to shatter a global civilization, right? To snap the chains of knowledge passed from one generation to the next. It could explain how the principles behind something like the Antikythera Mechanism could just vanish for 1,000 years, leaving nothing behind but ruins and legends of a lost golden age.
And this brings us to one last idea, and honestly, it's a real mind-bender. It takes this whole historical question and makes it personal, for us, right now.
This is a thought experiment from modern astrophysicists, okay? They're asking, if a civilization just as advanced as ours existed millions of years ago, way before humans, would we even know? And the answer is, probably not. Our cities would crumble to dust. The only way we might find them is by looking for indirect clues, like a sudden spike of carbon in ice cores or weird plastic residue in sediment layers. Just echoes in the rock.
And that's the question that really brings it all home, isn't it? This whole story isn't just about ancient mysteries. It's a pretty stark reminder of how fragile our own civilization might be. If a sophisticated society with incredible knowledge could be wiped off the map once before, what makes us so sure that we're immune?
Look, in the end, the evidence doesn't give us a clean, easy answer. What it does is leave us with this really provocative thought. Are we standing at the peak of a long, steady climb of progress? Or are we maybe a species with a case of amnesia, just slowly rediscovering secrets our ancestors once knew? The case file, for now,